Hello dear farmers, welcome to my channel Farm with Chris, and today I want to introduce you to this wonder grass that we call Brachiaria. So I've set aside this section of the farm to grow my Brachiaria grass. This Brachiaria grass is a month and a half old, and it's a very vigorous growing kind of a grass which is very rich in protein, and also the biomass. It will, when planted and taken care of very well, it will give you a good result in terms of the biomass, which you will be able to feed your cows. So this section is a month and a half old and yet to be harvested, but here this is what I've been doing today. I've been harvesting this Brachiaria grass. It's ready for harvest, and it is 3 feet. As you can see, it's quite tall. It's a very tall grass. It has been raining in central Kenya, that's why you can see most of it is lying on one side because of the wind, but it's ready for harvest. And while harvesting, you should make sure that it does not overgrow, because the fiber content, the lignin, will replace the nutrient that the Brachiaria grass contain. So while harvesting, you should note that one thing, that you should not cut, or while cutting, you should not cut the same way you harvest the super napier. You should at least harvest 5 centimeter above the ground. 5 centimeter above the ground. You should not cut the whole stem and leave it flat. You should at least leave a 5 centimeter stem like this one. This one will ensure that the Brachiaria will shoot very fast based on how you're gonna take care of it. And also you should add the manure that it is needed. And while cutting, make sure that you have a very sharp object. You can use a panga, you can use a sickle, so that you cannot destroy the stem. When you destroy the stem will tend to rot, and when the stem rots, there will be no shoots, and the growth rate will be slow. So you should have a very sharp object while harvesting. And when it comes to planting of the Brachiaria grass, we use sprigs, the Brachiaria sprigs. We don't use the cuttings, although some will use sprigs, others will use seeds. But I personally, I used the sprit that I bought from those vendors who ought to sell the fodder. So that is where I sourced my Brachiaria from. And as you can see, this is a very good protein source for your cows, and it also gives you a very good biomass. So this section I'm harvesting it, and this section is gonna be harvested about a month's time. So Brachiaria, during establishment, we use sprigs to propagate it. So when I mean a sprit, this is what we call a sprit. As you can see, it's just a section of the Brachiaria grass stem, but it has some roots. So when you want to plant the Brachiaria grass, I will advise you to use the rows. These are what we call the rows. As you can see, is a row from this point to that point. So you just plant your Brachiaria grass this way, and then you cover with the soil, and that is having enriched the soil with manure, and then you will cover the Brachiaria. That way it will be able to grow very well. And here we also have another split. This one is what we call a split. As you can see, it has some tiny roots. We're just gonna plant it this way, that way, and then you cover with the soil that way. So the Brachiaria grass usually takes either 3 months or 5 months, depending on the climate, to mature. So after some time, you will have this kind of growth. You can see it's very vigorous and it's very green, meaning that it is able to make its own food, because it is able to use the chlorophyll for photosynthesis, making its own food and making sure its growth is vigorous, as you can see from this part. So this is a month and a half old. So after it has matured, make sure that it has not overgrown. So after you harvest, this is what you get. So from such a small area like this, you can see I've planted my Brachiaria in rows. This is a row going all the way to that point. So this is what I got after I have just harvested those rows. It's quite a very vigorous growing feed for your cow or whichever animal you have in the farm. So after this, you're gonna give it to the animals. That is after you have wilted the Brachiaria grass. Or you can dry it for 3 to 4 days and make what we call hay. You can just dry it or make bales of hay using what you have based on the quantity of the Brachiaria grass. So what I do, I wilt mine completely this way. This is my wilted Brachiaria grass, and this one is from my previous harvest. As you can see, it's almost 3 feet tall, and this is how I feed it to my cow. I'm just gonna chop it and give it to my herd. So I will encourage all the farmers to have different fodders in their farm, and this one is one of them. That is the Brachiaria grass. It is very nutritious, and also when cows feed on it, they emit very low amount of methane gas into the atmosphere, and also it has very deep roots. The Brachiaria has very deep roots, and it is able to resist drought for almost 6 months. So farmers should embrace the Brachiaria grass. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna finish up harvesting, and then I'm gonna wilt it until it's dry. And the advantage of wilting it until it's dry, you can be able to store it for many years or months, depending on where you keep it. But one thing, you have to prevent it from water or any other form of moisture. So thank you for watching my videos, and subscribe to my channel.